Hey guys, how's it going? It's Dynasty Reloaded coming back at you guys once again, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Bukkit plugin tutorial. I know it's been a long time since I've done one of these, and I decided to come back with a bang just because it's been so long. So today I want to be showing you guys how to make a custom entity, and pretty much this is really advanced, so if you're a beginner in Java, or if you're even a novice in Java, I suggest going and watching some more tutorials and becoming a little bit more familiar with Java terms, because I'm going to be using a lot of those in this tutorial. So it's going to be a three-part tutorial. The first part is going to be showing you guys how to make the entity. The second part is going to be how to spawn the entity, and the third part is going to be how to get the entity, which I want to be making cell signs for. So in the first part, it also includes how to register with NMS, so where it'll actually spawn them in, like I was saying. And so we're going to be using vault.jar for the cell signs later on, and that way, if you're doing like a faction server, I can make it so where you can get a certain amount of money out of their class, or out of their account, and that'll spawn in the zombie. And then I also have start.jar, which is 1.8.1, I believe, or it's anything after 1.8, pretty much, because it's the build R2. So, first off, we're going to make our main class, which extends Java plugin like usual, and it's going to implement listener. Obviously, we're not doing anything with listeners yet. It'll come later on, but I already registered the class as a listener. So first off, we need to make another class called NMSUtil, and inside this class we are going to make a public void, and this is just going to be a little method to register our entity. So public void register entity, and the first one is going to be a string name, and then integer ID, and then we're going to make a class with a wildcard that extends entity and sentient, and this is going to be NMS class, and then we're going to have the same exact thing where a class wildcard that extends entity sentient, and this is going to be our custom class. So we're going to need a try statement because we're going to have to try it, and we're going to catch this with exception E. Alright, so now that we got our try statement up, we can actually start working on our methods inside of here. So the first method is pretty much just going to be a reflection to Minecraft in case they ever update the entity. It'll change the ID, or if they ever change the name of it. And that's going to be really helpful. So we're going to need list, and then we're going to use a map with two wildcards, and this is going to be called data map. And then we're going to make a new array list, or we're going to set it equal to a new array list map. Map wildcards, and then that's all we're going to need. So now we need to import it. So there are going to be java.util.list, and I don't know what I just did right there. I don't know how I always end up with an extra parentheses. Alright, so we're going to make a for method to go through all the fields and make sure that none of them are equal. So field F, and field you're going to import as java.lang.reflect, and we're going to make it run through all the entity.type.get. We're going to actually need to import that, or else it probably won't let us go. So we don't really need that. We need the class, and then get the declared fields. And then we're going to say if f.getType.getSimpleName dot equals map.class dot get simple name, then we need to make it so where it's accessible. Set accessible to true, and then we also need to do data map dot add. We need to add a cast of map in here, so we're going to cast map onto. Actually, we need our map to have our two wildcards in it. I can't believe I forgot about that. We're going to need to cast that onto f.get, and then set that to null. And yeah, so let me add one last bracket. There we go. And now that we are done with the for method to make sure that we can access into the class, we are going to make it so where if data map dot get to dot contains key ID, so if there's something in the data map that has the same ID, then we are going to set data map, that data map that we just picked up, to we're actually going to remove 0. Actually, we're going to get 0. Sorry, get 0, which is going to be the name. So we're going to remove name, and then we are going to say data map dot get to dot remove ID. So there we go. Now that we got rid of that, to make sure that there is room for our class, we need to now make a method that equals, actually we need to import method from java.lang.reflect, and we're going to make it equal entity type, if I can spell it right, entity type dot, actually let's see what's wrong up here first. What is wrong with this? Map casting over f.get null. Actually, I don't see anything wrong with that. Data map, oh, we did add all. That's why it's just need to be add. There we go. I was like, why is that wrong? It should be exactly right. So, entity type dot class dot get declared method, and we're going to get the method A. The parameter types are going to be the names and stuff, so let's clear that out. String dot class, comma, actually we need to do class dot class first. Class dot class, because we need to get the class that it's in first. Then string dot class, and then we're going to need the ID. So int dot class. There's that. And now we can go ahead and say method dot set accessible to true, so we can access that entity or that method. So now we can go ahead and say method dot invoke, and we're going to invoke nothing, and we are going to set, or we're going to set the object to nothing, and then we're going to replace it with custom class name ID. So pretty much we're taking out what the method was originally, and then we're setting it to our own custom class name and ID. Now we can obviously just use the exception. So e.print trace, and we're done with that. So now that we're done with the NMS util, we can actually go ahead and start making our entity. So we're going to make a class called custom entity zombie. Entity zombie. And it's going to actually extend entity zombie, sorry. I don't know why I was about to extend zombie. And we are going to make this public custom entity zombie. It's going to be a little constructor. So custom entity zombie world, and these are actually going to be net.minecraft.server, and we're going to super world. There we go. And now that we made that, we can go ahead and start actually making our zombie. So we're going to make a protected void init attributes, which is what the actual method's called in the Spigot file. And you have to have them exactly the same or else it won't pick them up. So init attributes, let me make sure I spelled that right. Init attributes, yep. And we are going to do super dot init attributes. And that way, because we're getting that from the zombie class or entity zombie. So now we can go ahead and say this dot attributes, or get attributes, sorry, instance. Oh, wrong one. attribute instance. There we go. And we are going to go ahead and set the damage value that he does to generic attributes dot e dot set value. So if he has nothing in his hand, we're going to set it to 10 double. So pretty much if he doesn't have any items in his hand, it's going to do 5 damage. Or 5 times the damage. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure what he does normally. I think it might be 2 double. So he's going to do 5 times the damage that he normally does. And then we're going to go ahead and say this dot get attribute instance. Oops, I don't want absorption hearts. I mean, we could, but we're not going to. Absorption hearts, generic attributes dot max health, and we're going to set this to 100 double. So he's pretty much going to have 50 hearts, and we're going to do this dot set custom name to, let's say, chat color dot red plus the flash. There. We're gonna have to import chat color, obviously, and we're going to say this dot set custom name visible to true, and we're going to do this dot set baby because we don't want it to be a baby zombie, so we're going to set this to false, and this dot set villager to false. There we go. And we can do this dot get attributes, and we're going to do generic attributes again dot d dot set value, and we're going to set this to 1.0d. So pretty much this is the value for speed. The normal value is like 0.20003 something. It's like 10 decimal places long, and it's insane. So we're going to make them super fast, like the Flash, obviously, because that's his name. And you can also set custom things so where they will ignore humans, per se, and maybe attack not zombies. You can make them attack other zombies, but you can also make them attack like creepers and stuff like that. And so let's go ahead and say protected item get loot. So we're gonna make their loot for whenever they die, what they drop. And obviously this is only going to return 1. You can actually go in and make a NMS or craft bucket version of your item, which is a lot longer, and I don't feel like doing that in this tutorial just because it's not what it's about. And we're going to do items.diamond. I'm also going to show you a different way around having to do all that. Just it's going to be a lot easier doing it my way. And there we go. So we got that all set up. Now we're going to make a spawn system for it. So we're going to do public static zombie spawn. And we're going to do location, and we're going to set world to MC world, and we're going to cast world onto craft world, and let's make that a capital W because we obviously can't do it lowercase. So we need to cast craft world. Oops, no, I don't want the custom entity zombie right there. I want craft world. If I can ever get it, capital, there we go, craft world, to location dot get world dot get handle. And if it'll pull up, I misspelled it, that would be a good reason why it would not pull up. Dot get, I'm outside the bracket. Location dot get world dot get handle. Oh, I know why. I should probably import this, or else I'm never going to get it. There we go. I need to import zombies still. And yeah, so if you don't import stuff, you're never going to get anything out of Bukkit or anything that's useful. So we're going to make a final custom entity zombie. And we're going to rename it as just custom entity. And we're going to set that equal to new custom entity. So we're going to make a new custom entity zombie at MC world. So we're going to get the location, the craft world location. and spawn the zombie there, or make a new zombie at that location. So now we need to go ahead and say custom entity dot set location, and we need to actually spawn him. So we're going to say location dot get x, and then location dot get y, and finally location dot get z. We need to get the y'all, so location dot get y'all, and then location dot get pitch, and then we can finally get rid of that and go on to the next line. We need to do a craft living entity to be able to spawn it, and we need to cast that onto custom entity. Yeah, just regular custom entity, the one that we just made. Dot get bucket entity. There we go. I should probably fix my caps lock before it starts throwing me off. Alright, so we need to import craft living entity, obviously. Did it import it for me? No. Hopefully it imported the right thing. Oh, wait. We need to dot set remove when far away to false. That way, whenever you are like a chunk away, it doesn't automatically just despawn the entity. And we're going to do MC world dot add entity, and then custom entity. Oops, custom entity. There we go. And then we're going to make the spawn reason custom. There. Alright, so now we can return a zombie, or cast a zombie onto custom entity dot get bucket entity. There we go. So pretty much now whenever we want to spawn the zombie, we can just do custom entity zombie dot spawn, or we need to cast this, so we need to do something like object and then name the object equals new and then this object. So we need to do, say, custom entity like this. We would do custom entity, if I can spell, entity zombie space zombie equals new custom entity zombie t zombie, and then we would say zombie dot spawn, and then we would do like p.get location for a player, and that would actually spawn the zombie there, or wherever he clicks, which we're going to do later on for the spawn egg. That's why we did it custom, so he doesn't just spawn randomly in the environment. So now that we have all that done, we need to go ahead and register him into our class, so he'll actually register whenever we start the file. So nms util, and then we're going to do nmsu equals new nms util, and we're going to say nmsu dot, we need lowercase, nmsu dot register entity. We're going to name him the Flash. His ID is going to be 54, which is the ID of a zombie. We're going to do zombie dot, or no, we need entity zombie, sorry. Entity, I can't even spell entity right now. Zombie dot class, and we're going to replace it with custom entity zombie dot class. There we go. So now that we have them spawned in or registered into our plugin, it'll automatically register them whenever we go through. So later on I'll show you guys how to enable the spawn method. So we're going to make the egg, and we're going to make it detailed. We're going to make it have a craft bucket enchant, so where it has the enchantment glow but it has nothing to it, which is pretty cool actually. There's a lot of servers that use it, but there's a lot of people that I get questions from that are newer to Bukkit plugins that ask me how do people do it. So I'm going to show you guys that next episode, and I'm also going to show you guys how to spawn it in. So to make sure that you guys don't miss those episodes, make sure to subscribe like right now. That way if you come back at a later date and you don't see it, you will automatically get the update for it. And also like this video so a lot more people can see it, share it, and comment. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will definitely be posting these next couple parts either today or tomorrow. And if not, it's going to be over 3 days, like a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I want to try to upload them all on the same day, though. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next part, and later.